The alien princess realizes the soldier who won the war is her childhood friend. The war ended in silence. Not with cheers, not with explosions, not even with the proud speeches the galaxy expected from a conquering species. It ended when the last alien fleet powered down its weapons and drifted in space, surrounded by human ships that did not fire a single final shot. Princess Seralith stood on the balcony of the Royal Observation Spire, looking out at the stars of her home system. The sky was crowded with unfamiliar shapes, human vessels, angular and dark, arranged with careful precision. They did not move like the elegant fleets of her people. They were not beautiful, they were practical. That alone frightened her. All across the Empire, news screens repeated the same message in dozens of languages. The war is over. Humanity has won. Seralith closed her eyes. For 10 long cycles, her people had fought the humans. At first, the Empire had dismissed them. Humans were new, small, divided. They had no ancient fleets, no psychic commanders, no living starforges. Against an empire that had ruled for thousands of years, humanity should have broken quickly. They did not. Instead, they learned. Each defeat made them smarter. Each lost battle made their next move harder to predict. They retreated when logic said they should advance. They advanced when logic said retreat was safer. They attacked supply lines instead of fleets. They waited. They endured. And now, impossibly, they stood victorious. "Your Highness," a voice said gently behind her. Seralith turned. Ambassador Kethrin, her father's most trusted advisor, bowed his head. His silver skin was dull with exhaustion. "The human delegation has arrived," he said. "They request a formal surrender ceremony." Seralith straightened her posture. "And their leader," Kethrin hesitated. "That is unusual." She raised an eyebrow. "Unusual how? They have refused to send a politician or a noble or even a fleet admiral." Seralith frowned. "Then who represents them?" "A soldier," Kethrin said. "A single one." That made no sense. Wars were ended by emperors and councils, not by common soldiers. Victors always sent their greatest names, their brightest symbols of power. "A soldier won this war?" Seralith asked. Kethrin shook his head slowly. "Our intelligence believes, yes, this particular one did." Her heart tightened. "What is his name?" Kethrin checked the data slate in his hand. "The humans call him Commander Elias Ward." The name meant nothing to her, and yet something about it made her uneasy. The ceremonial hall was filled with light. Tall crystal pillars rose toward the ceiling, glowing with the soft colors of the Empire. Noble delegates filled the upper tiers, their expressions a mix of fear, anger, and disbelief. At the center of the hall stood the surrender platform, empty, waiting. Seralith took her place beside the imperial seal. She wore the formal armor of her station, polished and ceremonial, heavy on her shoulders. She was not afraid of surrender. She was afraid of who they were surrendering to. The doors opened. Every conversation stopped. The human entered alone. He did not wear bright armor, no ceremonial cape, no signs of rank beyond a simple insignia on his chest. His uniform was dark, worn, repaired in places rather than replaced. His boots were scuffed. His posture was straight but relaxed, like someone who had spent a lifetime standing in dangerous places. He looked ordinary. That unsettled the room more than any monster would have. He walked forward at a steady pace, eyes calm, taking in the hall without awe or fear. When he reached the center, he stopped and waited. He did not kneel. He did not bow. He simply stood. Princess Seralith studied him closely. Humans were shorter than her people, denser, built for heavy gravity worlds. His hair was dark, cut short. His face bore small scars, not dramatic but numerous, signs of survival rather than decoration. This was the one who broke the Empire. "This is Commander Elias Ward," Kethrin announced, voice echoing through the hall. "Representative of the United Human Coalition." The commander inclined his head slightly. "Princess Seralith of the Aurelian Empire." Her breath caught. He pronounced her name perfectly. Not just correctly, but with the subtle tonal shift used by natives of her world. Even her own allies often failed to get it right. "Welcome," she said carefully. "You stand before us at the end of a long and tragic war." "Yes," Ward replied simply. "I do." His voice was calm. Not proud, not cruel, just tired. Seralith felt something twist in her chest. "You have won," she continued. "The Empire is prepared to accept the terms of peace." Murmurs spread through the hall. Some nobles looked furious. Others looked relieved. Ward did not smile. "We are not here to celebrate," he said. "We are here to end this." That was not how victors spoke. Seralith narrowed her eyes slightly. You show little satisfaction for someone who defeated an empire. He met her gaze evenly. Satisfaction is a luxury for people who did not bury their friends. The hall fell silent. That sentence struck harder than any threat. Sarilith had read reports describing the human commander as ruthless, unstoppable, almost machine-like in efficiency. Yet the man before her spoke like someone who remembered every loss. As the ceremonial proceedings began, Sarilith found her attention drifting back to him again and again. The way he stood, the way he listened. The way his eyes softened, not hardened, when civilian casualty numbers were mentioned. And then it happened. A minor official stumbled over a phrase in the ancient imperial dialect, using a childlike variation instead of the formal one. Without thinking, the human commander spoke. That version is only used in early education, he said quietly. The formal structure changes after the third learning cycle. The official froze. The nobles gasped. Sarilith felt the blood drain from her face. No human should know that. No outsider should know that. She stared at him, her mind racing backward through time, through memories she had not touched in years. A hidden garden, a broken escape pod, a frightened alien child with unfamiliar eyes and a strange accent, trying desperately to learn her language. Her voice came out barely above a whisper. "How do you know that?" Ward looked at her, really looked at her. For the first time since entering the hall, his expression changed. Recognition flickered across his face like a crack in stone. He opened his mouth, then closed it. "Perhaps," he said slowly, choosing his words with care, "we should continue this discussion somewhere more private." The room erupted in confused murmurs. Princess Sarilith's heart pounded. Because suddenly, impossibly, the face of the man who ended the war overlapped with the memory of a lost child from her past. And deep inside, a terrible, unbelievable thought took shape. No, it can't be. Yet the universe had already proven it did not care what seemed possible. The private chamber was quiet. Too quiet. Princess Sarilith stood near the tall window, looking out at the stars, but she did not really see them. Her thoughts were loud, racing, crashing into each other. Behind her, the doors sealed shut with a soft sound. Only two people were inside, princess of a fallen empire, and the human soldier who ended the war. Commander Elias Ward stood a respectful distance away. His hands were behind his back, posture calm, but his mind was not. He had not expected this meeting, not like this, not now. Sarilith finally turned to face him. "Speak," she said. Her voice was steady, but her eyes were not. Ward took a slow breath. He had faced enemy fleets, orbital fire, and impossible odds. This felt harder. "You asked how I knew your language rules," he said. "There is only one honest answer." She stepped closer. "Then give it." He met her gaze. "I learned them here long ago." The room seemed to shrink. Sarilith's hands trembled slightly. "That is not possible. Humans did not travel this far back then." "I didn't," Ward said. "Not on purpose." Silence fell again. Memories pushed against Sarilith's mind, memories she had buried because they hurt too much to keep. A crash, fire in the sky, a broken metal pod half buried in crystal sand. She swallowed. "There was a child," she said slowly. "A strange child. He fell from the stars." Ward nodded once, her breath caught. "He was scared," she continued. "Injured. He did not know our world, our ways." "Yes," Ward said quietly, her eyes widened. "That child was you." For a long moment he said nothing. Then he answered with one word. "Yes." The truth hit her like a wave. She took a step back, pressing a hand to her chest. "No, no, that cannot be. That was decades ago." "For you," Ward said, "not for me." She stared at him, confused. "My people age differently," he explained. "Time passed faster for me, faster for humans." Her mind struggled to catch up. "You were my friend," she whispered. A ghost of a smile touched his face. "You were the first alien who ever showed me kindness." The memories broke free. The garden had been hidden from the city. Young Sarilith remembered sneaking there, away from her tutors and guards. That was where she found him, small, dirty, bleeding, trying to stand on legs not built for her world's gravity. He had tried to fight her at first. Poorly. She smiled faintly at the memory. "You tried to scare me," Ward chuckled softly. "I thought you were going to eat me." She almost laughed, almost. "You were so loud," she said, "always asking questions." "You were patient," he replied. "You taught me words, rules. How not to offend people by accident." She closed her eyes. She remembered hiding him, sneaking food, teaching him how to walk properly under the heavier gravity, listening to him talk about his home, about oceans, storms, cities of metal and light. Then one day, You were gone, she said. Ward's expression darkened. Your guards found the pod. Her eyes snapped open. They never told me. They didn't want you involved, he said. They took me away, studied me, questioned me. Her hands clenched. I searched for you. I know, Ward said. I heard you calling my name. Her breath shook. They decided I was too dangerous, he continued. A foreign species, unknown biology, unknown technology. They planned to keep me forever. Sarilith felt sick. How did you escape? She asked. Ward's voice hardened. I didn't. Her heart sank. They returned me, he said, to space. She looked up sharply. Returned? They fixed my pod, he explained. Sent me back toward human territory with a warning message. Sarilith whispered, What message? Ward's jaw tightened. Stay away. The room felt cold. They told humanity your empire was powerful, he continued. Ancient, unchallenged. They told us not to come closer. Sarilith looked away. We feared what we did not understand. Ward nodded. So did we. The silence stretched between them, heavy with shared history and broken choices. You became a soldier, she said finally. Yes. Because of us, he considered the question. Not because of you, he said. Because of what I learned. She turned back to him. What did you learn? That kindness and fear can come from the same hands, Ward said. That survival means adapting, and that humans must never be helpless again. Her chest tightened. The war, she began, was not revenge, he said firmly. We did not even know it was your empire at first. Only later did I realize. And still, she said softly, you continued. Yes, her voice rose. You destroyed our fleets, our stations, our defenses. And we spared your civilians, Ward replied. We avoided your core worlds. We cut supply lines instead of cities. She looked at him sharply. Why? Because I remembered the girl in the garden, he said, and I knew your people were more than their rulers. Tears burned her eyes. Outside the chamber, the galaxy waited to learn what kind of victor humanity would be. Inside, two old friends faced the weight of the past. You won, Sarilith said. The Empire is broken. Ward shook his head. No, the Empire chose to stop fighting. There is a difference. She studied him. You speak like a leader. I am just a soldier, he replied, but humans follow soldiers who survive. She took a slow breath. What happens now? That, Ward said, depends on you. Her eyes widened. Me. You are respected, he said, even now. Even in defeat, your voice will shape how your people see humanity. And yours, she asked. He looked away. My people already see me as a weapon. Something in her expression hardened. They are wrong, she said. Ward met her gaze. So are yours. For the first time since the war ended, Sarilith felt something other than fear. Hope. But hope was dangerous. Because if the galaxy learned the truth that the human who won the war had once been a lost child protected by an alien princess, everything would change. All this time, she whispered, we were connected. Ward nodded. The universe is small that way. A soft alarm chimed. The council is waiting, she said. Yes, he replied. She hesitated at the door. Elia's. He looked at her. I am sorry, she said. For what was taken from you. He was silent for a moment. Survival took something from all of us, he said. The question is what we choose to build with what remains. They stepped out together, side by side. And unseen by the watching galaxy, the future quietly shifted. The galaxy did not like silence. After the surrender ceremony, news spread faster than ships could travel. Across hundreds of systems, screens lit up with the same image. Human ships holding position, not advancing, not withdrawing. Waiting. That alone made many civilizations nervous. Princess Sarilith stood before the Imperial Council chamber. The great doors loomed in front of her, carved with the history of an empire that had never truly lost before. Until now. Inside, the council waited, leaders, generals, nobles, and strategists. Some were angry, some were afraid. Some were already planning how to survive a galaxy where their empire was no longer untouchable. Behind Sarilith, Commander Elias Ward waited quietly. He did not enter the chamber, not yet. The guards watched him closely, some with fear, some with hatred, none with confidence. Princess, one guard said carefully, the council requests your presence. Alone. Sarilith nodded. She paused, then turned slightly toward Ward. They are not ready to see you, she said. They don't have to be, he replied calmly. I'm not here to rule them. That answer unsettled her more than any threat. She stepped inside. The council chamber erupted the moment the doors closed. You brought the human into the palace, one noble shouted. He stands within our walls, another cried. He should be in chains, a general snarled. Sarilith raised her hand. Slowly, the chamber quieted. "The war is over," she said, "and we will not begin the peace with shouting." A counselor leaned forward. "Peace, Princess, we surrendered to a species that rewrote warfare itself. They dismantled our fleets without matching our strength. They starved our armadas without starving our people. They outthought us. And now," another added, "their commander stands outside this room." "Yes," Sarilith said, "because he respects our customs." Murmurs followed. "He does not need to," someone muttered. "That is the point," she replied sharply. She took a breath. "You all want to know what humanity will do next." Silence. "They are waiting," she continued. "Waiting to see what we do," a general scoffed. "They are gathering strength." "No," Sarilith said, "they already have it." That landed hard. "They won this war without conquering us," she went on. "That should tell you something." A counselor narrowed his eyes. "You speak as if you admire them." Sarilith met his gaze. "I admire survival." The chamber grew still. "Commander Ward has agreed to limited transparency," she said. "He will address the council." Gasps filled the room. "You cannot," someone began. "I can," she said firmly, "and I will." The doors opened again. Commander Elias Ward entered the chamber. Every eye locked onto him. He did not look around nervously. He did not act superior. He simply walked to the center and stopped. "I will be brief," he said. That alone surprised them. "The war is over because continuing it would only produce more graves," Ward continued. "On both sides." A counselor snapped. "You expect us to believe that mercy motivates humans?" Ward looked at him calmly. "No, I expect you to believe efficiency does." Some shifted uneasily. "We did not win because we are stronger than you," Ward said. "We won because we adapted faster than you expected." A strategist leaned forward. "Explain." "You built fleets," Ward said. "We built systems. You planned for victory. We planned for survival." He paused. "You fought to defend territory. We fought to protect people." The chamber was silent. "Humans do not seek empires," Ward said. "We seek security. Push us far enough and we will build it ourselves." A noble scoffed. "And now you stand as our executioner?" Ward shook his head. "No, if we wanted you destroyed, you would already be dust." That truth settled like weight. "We want a stable galaxy," he said, "one where no single power decides the fate of others without consequence." Sarilith watched the council carefully. Fear was changing shape. "Humanity will withdraw its fleets," Ward continued. "After treaties are signed, we will maintain patrol routes, shared ones." A counselor whispered, "Shared? We protect trade," Ward said. "Civilians, neutral zones. You would defend us?" A general asked sharply. Ward answered honestly. "We would defend stability." That answer frightened them even more. Across the galaxy, reactions exploded. Some civilizations welcomed the end of imperial dominance. Others feared humanity's quiet power. A few began copying human doctrines, logistics networks, layered command structures, redundancy over elegance. Too late. Humanity had already moved beyond that phase. Within the empire, unrest grew. Citizens asked why their fleets fell without their cities burning. Soldiers questioned old doctrines. Young minds began to wonder if ancient rule truly meant wisdom. Princess Sarilith felt the pressure daily. And then came the question she feared. A counselor asked it openly. "Princess," he said, "how do you know the human commander can be trusted?" The room held its breath. She answered slowly. "Because he had the power to destroy us and chose restraint." "That is not proof," the counselor snapped. "No," she said, "it is character." Ward did not react, but inside something shifted. After the session, Sarilith found Ward standing alone in a side corridor. "They will never fully trust you," she said. "They don't have to," he replied. "They just need to understand consequences." She studied him. "You sound like someone carrying the weight of a species." He met her gaze. "That's because I am." The words were not proud, they were heavy. "What happens to you after this?" she asked. "I go where humanity needs me," he said, "which is usually where things are about to break." She hesitated. "And us?" "That," Ward said gently, "depends on whether your people learn." She looked out through the transparent wall at the stars. "Once," she said softly, "I hid a lost child in a garden." Ward smiled faintly. "And that child learned what kindness looked like." The galaxy did not know it yet, but history had already turned, because the war was not the most important thing humanity had won. It was the right to redefine power itself. The warning came without drama, no speech, no threat, just a signal. Deep space sensors, human, imperial, and neutral alike, detected something wrong at the edge of known space. Ships were vanishing, not destroyed, not retreating, simply gone. Princess Sarilith was in the council chamber when the report arrived. The room, already tense from weeks of rebuilding and negotiation, fell into instant fear. "A navigation fault?" one counselor asked. "No," a strategist replied. "Multiple systems, different regions, same result." Sarilith's eyes narrowed. "Then it is not an accident." Commander Elias Ward stood beside the tactical display. He had not spoken yet. That alone made several council members uneasy. "What are we facing?" Sarilith asked him. Ward studied the data for a long moment. "Something patient," he said, "and hungry." The word hungry echoed through the chamber. The enemy did not announce itself. Trade routes collapsed first, then listening stations. Then entire patrol groups vanished between scheduled check-ins. No wreckage, no debris, just silence. Across the galaxy, panic spread. Smaller civilizations closed borders. Former imperial worlds demanded protection. Neutral powers demanded answers. All eyes turned to humanity, not because they trusted them, but because humans were the only ones who had already beaten the impossible once. Sarilith watched as pressure mounted from every direction. Her people were tired, their fleets damaged, their confidence shattered, and now something worse than defeat approached. She found Ward alone in the observation bay, staring into deep space. "You knew this would happen," she said. He did not turn. "I hoped it wouldn't." She stepped closer. "What is it?" "We don't know," he admitted, "but we've seen patterns like this before." Her eyes widened. "Before the war?" "Yes," Ward said. "In human history." She waited. "When predators enter a new environment," he explained, "they test it first. Quietly, they learn how things react." "And then?" she asked. "Then they strike where it hurts most," he said. "Supply, movement, trust." Sarilith felt a chill. The council called an emergency session that same cycle. Voices rose, accusations flew. "This is because of humanity," one noble shouted. "You destabilized the balance." Ward stood calmly. "The balance was already broken, we just revealed it," a general snarled. "Then fix it." Ward met his gaze. "We will, but not alone." Silence fell. "You want us to fight beside you?" the general demanded. "Yes," Ward said, "or you can wait your turn to disappear." That answer ended the argument. The first confirmed encounter came soon after. A human scout ship, heavily modified and crewed by veterans, sent back a single data burst before contact was lost. The image froze the room. Not a ship, not a fleet. A structure, massive, dark, wrong. It did not move like technology. It shifted, folded, reformed, like something alive pretending to be metal. "What is that?" Sarilith whispered. Ward's voice was grim. "A Devourer-class construct, or something close." "Close?" a counselor asked. Ward nodded. "Which means it's not alone." Fear swept the chamber. "They consume civilizations," Ward continued. "Strip systems clean, move on." "And you have fought them before?" Sarilith asked. Ward shook his head. "No." "Then how do you know?" "Because humanity listens," he said. "And we found the warnings others ignored." The Empire had always believed itself eternal. Now eternity looked very small. Sarilith stood tall. "What is your plan?" Ward looked at her, not as a soldier, not as a weapon, but as a leader. "We form a line," he said. "Not a wall, a net." Confusion followed. "We don't meet them head-on," he explained. "We slow them, starve them, force them to overextend." "That is not how wars are fought," a strategist objected. Ward replied calmly, "It is how humans survive." The alliance was formed in fear and necessity. Human fleets integrated with Imperial remnants. Shared command structures were built in days, not years. Human systems emphasized redundancy. If one command fell, 5 more could replace it. Imperial officers struggled at first. Then they learned. They learned to trust numbers over pride, function over beauty, results over tradition. Sarilith watched the transformation with awe. "You are changing us," she said quietly to Ward as fleets assembled. "No," he replied. "You're choosing to change." The enemy struck the outer line 3 cycles later. Entire stars dimmed as matter vanished. Worlds were not bombed, they were eaten. Human probes flooded the area, signals jammed, traps triggered. The Devourers reacted. That was the mistake. Humanity had not won the last war by being strongest. They won by making the enemy respond. Data poured in, patterns emerged. "They're predictable," a human analyst said. "Once engaged," Ward nodded. "Then we bleed them." The first counterattack was brutal, not glorious. Human ships sacrificed themselves to overload enemy absorption fields. Imperial carriers followed, launching precision strikes guided by human targeting systems. The enemy recoiled, not retreated, recoiled. "They can feel pain," Sarilith whispered. Ward's voice was steady. "Everything that adapts can be hurt." The cost was heavy. Lives were lost, ships burned. But for the first time, the galaxy saw the Devourers slow. Hope ignited. During a brief lull, Sarilith found Ward in the medical wing, staring at a list of casualties. "You carry them all," she said. "They trusted me," he replied. "That's the weight." She placed a hand on his arm. "You were never just a soldier." He looked at her. "And you were never just a princess." Outside, fleets regrouped. Inside, the galaxy held its breath. Because now it understood something new. Humanity was not dangerous because it conquered. Humanity was dangerous because when the universe threatened everyone, humans chose to stand in front.